take a breather.
Yeah, no. There's more cardio than I do in like ever.
Well, that Lee Sin has been consistent against SKT. Both Peanut and Blank have got the magic touch on the blind man. Galio going to be taken away, as is the norm. Talia coming out. Don't want to allow Faker to play that pick.
We have Thresh ban here out of SKT. KT would have no qualms in locking that away in the early rotation. However, on red side, you do have the chance of giving up either Zach, Elise, or Caitlyn. Caitlyn will not go through, but now there's a lot of power picks left on the table. Are they really willing to give score Zach or Elise? If KT chooses to ban neither, they'll walk away with one of these two picks. I do think that SKT might just be fancying an early rotation Thresh themselves, because giving that to Mata is a death sentence in itself.
Well said. Well said. Elise going to be banned out here by KT.
Okay, so KT's forcing a trade. Instead of leaving up 3 champions, they leave up 2 so that SKT have to decide what's going on, and they're going to not give up that Zach, forcing KT. Are you really going to first pick Thresh, is what they're asking them.
Well, the other scary pick outside of Thresh has been the Renekton for Smeb, and this time it's not going to be easy for them to pick that up on red side when they have the double pick. So they're going down to the wire with this one, and they're going to take the Karma away, in fact, from the side of SKT. Both Faker and Wolf can play it. It seems like SKT always pick that first rotation as a huge flex pick for their team regardless. And because they don't take the Thresh, it looks like SKT wants to take that away.
Both teams just taking the scraps from their earlier victories and applying them to their own strategy. You've got the Karma from SKT now in KT's hand, as well as the Gragas and Thresh on SKT. So a bit of a reversal here. I don't expect it to go down to the rest of the team composition, as they'll just apply a bit of flavor to each one. Now the next rotation for KT, you have Ashe remaining if they really want to take away that pick. No, it will be Scores Kha'Zix. So now he has a bit more carry potential and less utility.
Very curious to see that come through. I wonder if we will see the Renekton or not. I mean, it looks like they want to forego that pick. They're going to go with the Rumble instead. And another big Smeb pick, but it's changed in 7.12.
Rumble's a strong pick with Kha'Zix here. You got magic damage as well as your physical, allowing you to focus the top side a little bit better, and SKT will give Bang that Ashe once again. 3 games in a row, and with good reason, as he had a fantastic game 2, and it'll probably only get better. However, he is in a much more dangerous situation when dealing with that equalizer. He doesn't have that Karma to speed him out of that. If Lantern is not available, you will just cook in that one right away.
And it's really hard to get away from that, as you were mentioning. We'll see if they have any other picks to help him out with that. Perhaps an Orianna, throw him a shield, some of that sort. But as I say that, it's immediately banned. I'm like, okay, KT's on the same page. No more Faker Orianna after that last game.
You do not want to give Faker champions that provide utility and damage. It's too dangerous. They've already learned their lesson, so they're banning it away. And this could be the time for Def to bust out a Jhin. It would synchronize with the composition well, as you've got Void Spikes, Karma Poke, as well as that Equalizer to make due diligence and proc your Deadly Flourish and commit with your ultimate. However, between Lantern, between the Cask and Arrow, there's plenty of tools to escape the likes of a Jhin.
We're looking at a potential Fiora pick for Intara. With 10 seconds left, they're really thinking about this one. And they're going to lock it in. So Intara on the Fiora top, and Blank on the jungle Gragas.
A different flavor for SKT this time around. They will have that winning matchup as long as the game progresses and Fiora does not fall behind. However, between Kha'Zix and Rumble, that riposte doesn't offer too much when it comes to escaping their jaws. And there it is. It's that Jhin, and Zyra might make some sense here. Yep, there it is. It's going to be that Karma into the mid lane. So a composition for KT that completely wants to kite away and kill you from afar, whereas SKT can engage hard, can split push, and if they lock in this Corki, they can just go and burst you down and escape everything that KT throw at you.
Seems to be the plan here. Very excited to see Mata on the Zyra pick. We haven't seen it in maybe about a week. This Zyra, I mean, it comes out every once in a while, and of course it always draws bans against Core JJ, but looking to be a playmaker once again is Mata on a different kind of pick. No Lulu this time. Of course, the Thresh was taken away. Mata playing his third unique champion of the night.
This time around, KT does not have a tank, so the long-range poke from Corki and Ashe can take out members if they are getting caught. So you saw last game when Bang was just approaching everybody, getting significant chip damage onto them. If this is one of these members this time around, they'll likely have to either flash or get killed. So SKT packing danger this time around, but KT with nothing to scoff at, with a lineup that is 5 members with the highest damage possible. So reminiscent of their spring split form, but a form that was met with a 3-0 in the finals from SKT.
Yeah, looking to bring it in with the Karma as well for some kind of utility for them. They'll obviously have a lot of team speed with that, and so much aggression can come out of this team, especially with that backline of Deft as well to support them all. Untara on a pick like Fiora, lots of focus towards him as we get later and later on in the game to do some carrying for himself. And Faker gets his hands on the Corki this time around, and I can't believe Bang got Ashe again.
And remember that Corki can also assist Fiora in that split push mission with your package, helping out that split pusher, especially if Smeb gets to a point where he's got that Zhonya's where he's a little bit too tanky to go down. He will have that assist. And whew, let's do it.
The chills begin, guys, and looks like we actually will have a short delay as there was a pause. Not sure what the issue is. We'll let you guys know as soon as possible. All the pauses for summer have been quite short across the board. Hope I didn't just jinx it, but I wouldn't expect this to take too long. Apparently Wolf wants a new chair. So that's the issue, guys. Shouldn't take too long. Wolf needs a new chair.
I didn't know you could ask for that.
Can I have a new chair? No, my chair's pretty cool. Pretty good. Man, maybe it seems to be a problem with the armrest. That's what they're looking at.
Well, comfort is key, so anything that the players do feel that is not right, not fit for them to go into this third game, that just means so much, is absolutely warranted.
A game of this much importance with so much on the line, because I mean, we talked about how hype it is, but what does it really mean for the standings, right? These two teams are up at the top with Samsung 7-1. One win over another top team will get you just that much farther ahead and in that much better seeding as we get towards the end of summer split. So it's worth so much in pride, but it's also worth so much in terms of points. And guys, we are ready to go. Game number 3 has loaded up. The pause is done. We got him a new chair. Let's jump onto the Rift right now for SKT versus KT, game number 3. What? That was crazy loud. SKT, I think, was like double the volume.
Well, after that one, you gotta cheer louder. You feel like your first cheers made a difference. Causation, sure. Or correlation, what, science. What,
something
right,
like that.
Let's go back to what this match means. It's about purpose for KT. It's a team that was built to beat SKT. It's like knowing what you want in your life. Your dream is right there, and being able to achieve it, which just means so much to the members of this team and the entire KT organization that has been battling with SKT for so many years across so many esports. And it comes down to the wire in this best of 3. So far, mirrored start, so looks like we're gonna have some calms before an expected storm.
Excited to see Deft on this Jhin. I mean, we've seen him and Bang on crazy amounts of different carry 80 carries, stuff like Ezreal, I think Twitch, even, you know, Callista for Deft. But this time it's going to be the Jhin, or that backline, the Siege type, with the help of Mata, who will be up in the front or providing some help with disengage if need be. And sorry, guys, but we have another pause. Maybe someone else wants a new chair.
Hey, if you got a chair, can I get a chair too?
SKT paused.
That's what they want. They want another one. We're just getting teased here.
Can I have a new phone? Like, I know you guys sell phones. If you can get a chair, can I get something too?
But we'll go back to the game where we just saw Bang go for a
quick sound check is the issue.
So Bang goes for a quick trade, but we'll look at the compositions here. So KT doesn't have a whole lot of crowd control. And
okay.
Some updates is that
Bang
actually
says his chair is uncomfortable too, and so he wants a new chair.
This can't be happening. Are you kidding me? Are we seriously going to replace everyone's chair?
Chair issue. Are you serious?
I told you this game would have everything.
What is... This can't be real.
All right. Let's ignore the chair issues. If everybody wants a damn chair, we'll give everybody a new chair. There's plenty of chairs around. But the composition that KT has does not have a lot of crowd control. It has Mata as your root. Stranglethorn is the only real disable ability, which means that so much of them is going to rely on actually being in the right position and forcing SKT to engage on them. Whereas SKT have Ashe, they've got Thresh, they've got Gragas to make moves happen. And the Jhin pick, I wanted to touch on perhaps another reason why it went. Xayah for Deft was a bit underwhelming, and not just by his own doing. It felt like towards the later stages of the game, Score and Smeb got a bit carried away and getting too far from their ADs in order to deal damage, and late game your Gragas and Renekton just do not offer the same amount of damage and value to a fight as your carries, and as such you can just say, you know what, don't bother peeling for me. I can help you from this far away.
It's definitely one of those 80 carries that is very hard to get on top of if his positioning is good. You need to go really far in the back as Gragas to land a cask to interrupt that curtain call.
And he's going to use that curtain call from an angle that is behind his teammates so that he does not get hit by an Ashe arrow.
Mm-hmm. So the sound check is done, and I think I heard that we won't have a new chair. Yeah, we're not going to have a new chair for Bang. Sorry, Bang. Only one extra chair.
Like, all right, I'll play with this chair. Fine, let's do this.
I was looking at Antara thinking he was thinking about getting a new chair too. Would not like that. You can see that Flame Spitter does do a nice chunk of damage now, even at level 1. The added damage with the longer cooldown.
I'm not sure on the math on it, but I believe a Danger Zone Flame Spitter would do more damage, so still a bit of a nerf.
Yeah. Now it's more casual friendly, perhaps. You don't have to manage that heat as meticulously at the level. Oh, the Ignite going down. Lada already getting low, but that will not net a kill for that bottom lane.
Didn't blow any summoners themselves. Remember that they did sacrifice some of their laning power by going to the lane late, not even bothering setting up plants in order to get Score ahead. Normally you'd see Zyras that would want to start setting up some plants down there to start getting some lane advantages, but they gave that up willingly to allow Score to farm away, and so allowing him to take over the early game isn't such a bad idea considering how impressive they have been in Game 1 and Game 2.
Take a look at the jungle paths here. It looks like Score actually, level 4, is looking to run straight into Blank with that isolation. Actually misses the W, so can't follow up. Blank's gonna body slam to safety.
All that nets is the Scuttle Crab for Score. Both junglers now are aware of their following route. Looks like Score is gonna be going towards that Krugs, where Blank is going to his own Krugs as well. And with a control ward, can likely expect that control ward to be dropped in either the pixel brush that is being pinged in the area right now, or in the entrance to the red side, so that Untara does not get surprised by a behind the back gank from Score.
Bon really pressuring Faker in the mid lane. You could see Faker went with the Dorn shield once again. Just trying to get immense sustain in this lane.
It's a mirror matchup, but last time around, Pawn that was playing Faker had that teleport himself, as opposed to the heal that Faker is now carrying.
Some trading back and forth. You can see Score looking to grab those Raptors right as they spawn, as is Blank. It's very mirrored in that sense. No real advantage going either way at this point in the game. Too early.
And just some minor notes. Look at how Blank is playing out. He doesn't want to drop his ward early on or go for any invade because Corki's not there yet. You got to wait for your laners to get some pressure before you start popping out those wards. The chances of you getting caught out at the ward being killed are too high if you do that. But now he gets spotted out, and the control ward has not been dropped just yet. And it looks like it might just be one of those really aggressive ones. Drops a normal ward at the Raptor camp, the control ward on the retreat. So he knows that that ward will last just a little bit longer, and now Karma moving his way, but this could be a nice attempt on the backside. Score is ready to mirror this, though. We're gonna have some action soon.
Here we go, 3-on-3. Make that potentially 4-on-3 as Faker is rotating the flash play onto Deft here. Can he land that death sentence? The flash away from Deft, the double teleport, and look at that double root from Mana. Wolf in a lot of trouble. Looks like he will be first blood going down to Deft. Blang forced to flash that ball, but here comes Spawn looking for that kill, and the Q will set it up. That's a double kill going over to KT.
And KT's just so ready to respond for anything that SKT throw right at them. Score was on his way down there already. Blank cannot engage immediately, and the teleports just get thrown right off the get-go. He does get the smite for Blank at least, so he does not lose that wolf camp in its entirety. That's 2 kills going KT's way this early on. 3 early games, all KT's favor.
Yeah, and they're on blue side once again. It's not the Renekton Elise show this time around, but another nice play set up, or a counter play, I suppose you can call it, down in the bot lane.
And here it comes again. Gragas is from behind, so it's a good timing for the gank, but they commit immediately, and notice the time that the teleports. Right now, double TP, Scores already here, like, uh-oh, and the fantastic root from Mata. A double root, and Bang's already too close. He's not in a position to flash anywhere. Even though he flashes over the wall, you saw just how close Pawn got to him. He flashed to make sure that the tether range would continue even if he flashed over the wall. So a full commitment of summoners yields a huge advantage this early on.
Got to be good, got to be feeling good, rather, coming into this one. After losing a game that close to SKT, you could throw out some words like tilt, perhaps, that you would see on the side of KT. But it seems like it's all about focus. They don't look like they're phased at all.
When you're at this level, I don't think that tilt ends up sinking in. They weren't even devastated when they lost at 0-3 last spring finals. Now they're going for a red buff invade, the 7th timer on the initial spawn. Here comes Smeb as well.
Yeah. Blank actually does escape there. Just body slams over the wall, smites that red, and that invade will be for naught.
Close call. He does, however, lose his Raptor camp, but you can tell how Score is and the rest of KT is planning on extending their advantage by buff invades. The blue buff, however, I don't think they're going to be able to contest that one just yet, as they're not in a position to go for it, even though their bottom lane is pushing in so consistently and is now both of them level 6 to the level 5 of Ashen Thresh.
Definitely takes away a little bit of pressure they could have had at level 6. Potentially, if they could land those stuns on Mata, would be the prime target. Wolf coming on over here, getting this honey fruit. Trying to group up with Blank for just a little bit. Going for those deep wards, but Pawn will find them.
There's a package on Faker.
Yeah, does have that package. Mentor Q will just land on the Raptors. The invade will be cleared out. All the wards that were placed are cleared away by KT.
In this position, KT have to be aware that the vision control the movements from KT have all been dictated towards the bottom side of the map, which means that they should be banking on Untara. However, the time frame for Fiora to get those advantages is so far from now that they need to slow the pace down, make sure that they're not giving up much of the other side of the map so that Untara can get his items. Already at the Tiamat allows him to have some control in the top side, but he's going to need Tiamat and Trinity Force before he starts popping off.
All about that waiting game, and they're behind from the early part of this game already. Down a couple of kills. Score looking to set up another play, but you can see SKT in position, Blank and Faker rotating.
My bad, not Tiamat Trinity, Tiamat Cleaver. They both build out of phase. Too much Camille lately.
To get some slight buffs to her passive, I think it was. But we did see a ban, actually, the second ban phase by KT in this game.
Yeah, they must have valued Camille higher than Fiora.
Oh, look at this. We missed the beginning, but a key lantern. Looks like it will save Bang's life. Wolf just going to eat up all those shots from the curtain call.
I believe they just caught him with Stranglethorns into the ultimate, with Grasping Roots into the ultimate, and just barely able to survive because Wolf was just right there on time. He does have that Vamp Scepter that over time will keep him in this lane, but the fact that he's able to survive and got so many cooldowns from SKT, or from KT's bottom lane, mean that now they're in a position to play this lane out a little bit more conservatively, as they are no longer in the danger zone of curtain call and Zyra ultimate.
Baker spotted on a ward, but he's playing Corky, so he'll be totally fine to get out of there. Places a nice ward over the wall, spot any potential ganks in the future. Motto with the non-stop rotations from the bot lane.
And it's a vision that he has. It's a control ward at the Tri, a control ward at the river, allowing Zyra to just move freely between mid and bottom lane. Now the control ward is going to be dropped, but Blank has been mirroring Wolf this entire time. Instead of focusing on their advantages or their potential win condition, they're focusing on denying KTs. I think they feel safe going into a late game scenario. They did that last time around and they did win out. And because KT's composition is all about damage, positioning, and getting advantages early are so critical that SKT is having a more defensive approach to this early game.
It's the battle of the supports down there in the bottom river. So far, it looks like Zyra, with more of her teammates around, will win that fight. And uh-oh, and Tara doesn't really have any vision on Score up in the top lane. And here comes Pawn from mid. They're looking for a three-man kill up in the top lane. And Untara, he just has no idea. There's the equalizer, trying to dash away, looking for that flash. But once he sees Pawn, he knows it's all too late. That's going to be another kill going over to KT onto Score.
Just playing around vision so well as KT, as they're able to sneak their way into the top side. Untara even blew his grand challenge, and it looks like KT is now threatening onto Ashe.
Oh man, the root there, the Stranglethorns, it knocks him up, but just not enough damage to follow up, in a rotation from Blank and Wolf will push them back.
But that's huge because now they're focusing on that tier 1. Untara can't teleport. They're trading first brick for a Cloud Dragon. SKT just trying to trade anything on the map, and unfortunately the RNG is not on their side, and Ashe is forced to just sit under turret once again. They do blow out a major cooldown, and Score is now able to go for red buff. But KT is in a position where the gold advantage is already on their side, which tailors to this composition perfectly.
Yeah, they really need to get a bit aggressive after this. They take down the top tier 1. What's going to be the next target? We have the bottom tier 1 already taking a lot of damage. We see some go-go pings down there, and we also have the Rift Herald available. Saw one ping over there. SKT having a nice bit of vision around that side of the river, and it seems like they're just going to sit in the lanes for now.
Smeb doesn't have his ultimate up. He needs 30 seconds before they start making any 5-man moves on the map. The next dragon will be an Infernal, so about 5 minutes from now, we'll see some battle around that, especially on the side of KT. That dragon would be huge for this composition, and that's one of the benefits of going with these heavy carry comps. If your Dragon luck is on your side with Infernals, then the value grows exponentially, whereas a composition like SKT's that's got 2 champions that don't benefit from it would not gain the most out of that objective.
Okay, Faker with the package, extremely fast with the scanner, trying to make a play potentially. Decides against it, finds the control ward. Will just back away. Blank wasn't really coming with him. He was trying to get some vision down towards the Raptors in the meantime.
And they just don't have any vision on score, so it looks like they don't want to make any move into the top side. I would have thought that a package used into the Rumble in the position that he's in the red side of SKT, could be an easier window for an advantage for SKT. However, they're simply choosing to, again, play it defensively, slow down the turret take as opposed to going for the top side. If they went on the top side and killed the Smeb, they likely would have lost turret in bottom side or mid lane. So the approach from SKT seems to be spreading towards every member, and it's a good thing to see when they're so coordinated into the game plan for stalling out a game. That's one of the things that makes SKT's late game stalling out so effective, that everybody seems to be on the same page. No crazy, unnecessary moves that would slow down their initial tactic.
No making the top lane getting caught, none of that. They're so good at just controlling the pace of the game to what they need.
Wait a minute, they just got the Valkyrie and now he has flash and heal, but he's playing so
Looking
defensively.
for it. Yeah, he knows. Nice read from Faker, even gets the farm because, again, he's playing Corki. So nice read there. Looking for a hook. Wolf not going to land that one in the darkness. Faker and Blank now caught up in mid. Score going to jump onto Blank, and they're all just about disengaged. They don't want to go in. The arrow's going to sail wide, but again, it just looks defensive. Root is going to miss. Wolf, though, will get locked up by the Deadly Flourish, but KT not able to fully engage.
It's the composition. If SKT chooses not to engage, KT need to go for a tower dive. It's the only way you can lock the members of SKT down to a certain location. Otherwise, they can just walk away with Valkyrie, with Lantern, with Body Slam, and as such, there's an attempt onto Faker.
Oh, look at that burst damage. Gonna chunk down Pawn. But Faker getting away with the Valkyrie. Seems like he had a good idea. That Score was nearby. It was just fine.
Yeah, SKT just gets to decide when fights happen in this composition. As long as they clear out the wave and they don't let themselves get shoved in, KT need to reevaluate the way that they approach these fights. 2 minutes is going to be the timer until the Infernal Drake, and if they can get some serious vision around this objective, they can force SKT to fight around this one. And if SKT want to take this to the next level, they could even give that objective up. Would it be wise? Perhaps not, but it's definitely a possibility considering how they have been playing the last 10 minutes.
Next level passivity, Samsung level passivity.
It's intelligent passivity. It's not unnecessary. It's reading the game. It's 3,000 gold down. It's understanding that KT does not have the tools to force them into a fight. It's like the martial art where you simply choose to fight only when it's in your advantage, and that's what they're doing.
Trying to reach that next level, as I was saying, and pushing this one in. The bottom turret is extremely low. You can see the full rotation. 4 members of KT, even Smeb up in the top lane making his way down. Looking for more damage. They want an extra turret. Not going to get it on this wave. Perhaps on the next one. See, Blank is nowhere nearby. He's just doing Raptors. Hanging around mid.
And it's a good total shift for KT. Notice how the jungler moved down, the mid laner moved down as well, and as a result, Smeb also rotated from top to mid to be in a better position to assist if anything were to happen into the bottom side. So they're trying to make moves happen as a team, getting ready to respond for whatever SKT throws at them.
You can see Faker's farm in this game. He was the first to get over 200. He's just been so safe on the Corki and essentially just sits there as Pawn pushes into him. And he already does have that Trinity Force completed. Looking at Azeel going next. See what he wants to build that into. Looking for the pick onto Wolf, and will be forced to flash that. Can we see this snipe onto him? It's getting really close, but he will get out of range.
It's risky for SKT to take this fight, even though they have spiked with Trinity Force and Blade completed. Fiora is not capable of team fighting at this stage in the game. Rumble has that equalizer, and they do get too low. It's going to be a freebie.
This is going to be free. Just giving on over. There's the stun. And SKT just swoop on in and take it, but there's the teleport. They're looking for kills, and the turret is down. Bang, he's gonna be all alone, taken out. Blank just trying to get out with his life. Untara coming on in with his own teleport, but it looks like he will survive.
They really wanted Blank dead out of that one after that game too, but a big commitment from KT to go for that kill. I don't think they're going to have enough damage to take down this turret. The wave from Corki is too high between Phosphorus Bomb and the rocket. There goes the entire wave.
They're still even fighting in there. But
that was significant chunk damage. I think they're going to be able to get it now.
And he is low on mana too. So he was able to clear one wave, but that's about it. Forced to go back. I mean, Blank can't clear this alone. That's going to be another turret going over to KT. 3 in total to the 0 that SKT have secured.
And that lapse of reason from SKT to try to contest that, even though it looked like a completely free dragon, the teleport came through. So here we go. Score was trying to solo it out, low in mana, and so is Def, but the teleport comes through, and it's 3 on 5 at this point. But because Fiora teleports into this battle, she wasn't in a lane, she wasn't capable of getting any advantages, and as such, just TPs to get absolutely nothing in return, where she could have been trying to get ahead for herself, which would have made more sense towards SKT. Let Fiora start getting the ball rolling for themselves. She's got that phase now. She's going to need that Black Cleaver, but the itemization from Smeb is too far ahead from her right now. With Azanya's completed, Ninja Tabis and Leandries, the chances of a one-on-one dive are not there.
Not yet. Need some more time. That's the idea with this Fiora. Just wait, wait, wait. You got double 80 carry and a Fiora. A front line of Thresh and Gragas. Sit on your butt, farm it up, try not to die. And here we go, nice hook onto Deft, who's just face checking the brush. That's gonna be an easy kill given on over. Score just forced to ultimate away and survive, but Blank, he was looking for more, not going to chase too far, and Deft face checking the brush.
And they also got Pawn's TP, and now it's a 5-man push into the mid lane with no wave clear around. That's a mid-tier 1 going for SKT.
Don't you ever doubt Blank. And is 18-0 now. The game is not over, but a nice move there for SKT to take the kill. Wolf just the easy alley-oop given to him by Deft. And the vision control that they have allows them to take the turret and stay alive in this one.
Remember that in Game 1 and Game 2, Mata was playing on supports that offer defensive tools between Lulu and Thresh. This time around it's a Zyra, and she's not really that close. Had this been Thresh or even a Lulu, this could have been prevented, but he does face check an easy hook into an arrow, into a cast. They commit everything because they value the power of getting this pick right now, and as such, they start slowing down the pace of the game. Controlling the fights is what they need to look for. Buy time for Untara. You know he can play Fiora into the late game well. And if that point happens, KT's resource allocation will be starved in dealing with this one-man army that can be Fiora.
Well, they're certainly buying him a lot of time. Able to pick up a Sheen. It looks like going into Trinity Force for our Fiora this game.
KT need control of lanes before they go for anything in the jungle. SKT can disengage so easily. They need to make sure that they're in turrets.
Faker will get slowed and double slowed, 80%, but not enough as he doesn't face check the brush.
Look at that game sense, just teasing them and disengage.
Wolf and Blank just running on by. They're going to get equalizer straight up, and immediately Wolf going to go down here. Blank is going to be tethered. That's a double kill going over to Smeb now on the Rumble.
That's
Big
Baron.
Mistake.
That's Baron. They can easily force a Baron here. Untara's team fighting is not going to be present. That's just a Fiora. They can choose to bait it. They don't have full vision denial, but they are going to start it. Here are the pings onto it. SKT can't respond. Oh, that's huge.
That is gigantic. I mean, they saw the two members there and they decided to walk up I would like to take a replay look at that and see exactly what the thought process was behind it, but that's going to be huge, as you mentioned, the Baron going over to 5 members of KT.
Exactly. What prompted that decision? So they're trying to clear out some vision, but they had seen these two guys topside before, and flashes are available for a beautiful equalizer. Means that they can't just go anywhere. He doesn't even get to click the blast gun. He's struggling to find it amongst all the pineapples that Smeb has laid out on the floor, and ends up dying as he cooks on the equalizer. Oh, and actually, he is going Trinity Force Field.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh boy, Faker. He's going to get tethered here, and there's the deadly flourish. Look at that burst coming out of the Karma. Forced to flash into the lantern, but he does go down. Oh, man. So much used by SKT to try to save Faker, and in the end, he still gets taken out.
And SKT is just falling apart here. The game plan that was so apparent in the laning phase is no longer there. Now that a couple of picks have gone KT's way, a 4,000 gold lead has been built, and it will continue to grow. Next Dragon is another Infernal, and they have Baron to keep pushing for these tier 2s in top and bottom.
Yeah, they're just securing as many objectives as possible after getting all these picks. And Tara just looking at Smeb and saying, okay, you can have it. Looking towards now the extreme late game to try to come back in this one.
One more wave, and this tier 1 will go down. Notice how Gragas and Corki are dealing with the wave topside. Thresh is already trying to provide assistance between those lanes, but it's far too late. The turret has gone down, and an easy transition for the next objective.
Smeb alone, trying to go 1v4. He is doing a lot of damage to Blank, though, and he will definitely survive after that. The equalizer, bang, getting crit on the back of it. Swark going in. Once that solo kill on Uintara, not going to be enough, but look at all the HP of SKT. Almost taking out Uintara on the backside of that. Doesn't look like they want to come in anymore to get any turrets, but almost getting a couple of kills.
Had there been minions in that push, they would have been able to even break down the base. So luckily for SKT, no minions in sight, so KT just walk away with no casualties on either side. A blue buff steal and now an Infernal. This one's gonna make a difference.
That's that huge Infernal we were looking for KT. They still got a minute left on the Baron too. They can definitely head back, buy some items. Void Staff now for Smeb.
Control wards, that's where it's at. Items, nah, wards are everything that matters here. Smeb, sell that D-Shield. Let's get some vision on his side, but he's not doing it. Everybody else is enough. 4 wards is a pretty good number, but you always want to have 5.
Well, they're looking to push with this Baron buff as long as they still have it. Get as much pressure, maybe go mid into a rotation top. You can see that Pawn is pushing top lane already. They're kind of just ignoring Uintara, saying, okay, go ahead and farm. You know, try to get 3 items, 4 items. It's fine. We'll get more objectives and get further ahead.
Exactly. He's not yet in a position to dive Smeb, and that's good news for KT.
Oh, the Encades, though, they're going to find Deft once again. Deft just getting a little bit too close to these unwarded brushes, and here comes Uintara. Not going to be able to catch score on the back of that one, but Blank, he once more trying to get that stun, but in fact, he is the one that gets taken down, but that is going to bait score into a hook. Can they actually get the stun with the riposte? They do! And Faker coming in for the cleanup.
Oh my God! How does this keep happening? SKT just keep finding windows 2 times. Deft ends up being a little too far, and the mechanics from Blank come through. So many times do we see Gragas in critical moments like this use their auto attack before the ultimate, but Blank does not. He uses the ult right away, pops Deft into the entirety of the team, and he even chases to score when he looks like he can't take him 1v1. Here's a fight onto Smeb.
Oh man, now it's Faker's turn to get rooted. Can he be burned down here? He's slowed for quite a bit, but Wolf coming to the rescue.
Barely gets out. They do get the exhaust from Mata, which is bigger than the equalizer, as we don't expect the fight to happen for the next minute or so.
And look at that, Uintara even able to push the top lane. Deft trying to go for a snipe.
I don't know. Could this actually be the beginning of another comeback? And here, Blank waiting in the... He sees him. Okay, so he walks away. He baits it. And then, bam, beauty right there.
I mean...
Oh, perfect.
You got to know. You have to know the cooldowns on Blank's flash. You have to know the abilities of Gragas. I don't want to take too much away from him, but Deft being a little bit too greedy with the vision. And he's getting punished for it. Blank, the second he sees that walk forward, he's like, okay, I guess I'll just take you out then.
There's a reason why vision is typically done by jungle and support, the guys that can survive most of these situations, whereas an AD carry is too fragile to be getting so close to these engaged champions.
Yeah, it's almost like Deft, you know, he wants so badly to help out his team with vision, but it's like he's new to it. He's like, oh, you know, I'm going to get the deep ward for my team, and then he just gets taken out because he gets too close to the Gragas.
Well, the weird thing is that typically as an AD carries, a minor micro thing is that because an AD, you want to be spending as much gold as possible on your itemization. You typically want to place control wards as far back as possible. That way you diminish the chance that it gets taken out, and therefore you have to buy less. So being an AD carry and putting a control ward that deep into the enemy jungle is so unlikely to actually get any returns in any amount of time. So normally an AD shouldn't even be in that position. His control ward should be around the left side of mid or pixel brush, not at that point. That should be the guys that are bringing 2-3 control wards, such as Score and Mata. So a bit of an oversight for Deft, ends up costing his life and scores too.
And it keeps SKT in this game. More importantly, Untara, he's beginning to push these lanes, and they're getting to a point where they can't exactly ignore him for all that long. That bottom tier 2, it's about half health. Untara, he has got a Hex Drinker, after all, adding a bit more MR into the mix. Oh, nice dodge there by Blank. You know the plays that they're trying to go for with this composition. Poke into Deadly Flourish, and then follow up with everything you got. Or root into Deadly Flourish, you know, looking for those picks.
Trying to catch SKT in the jungle. Baron has respawned, but it's risky to start that Baron. Untara will be able to take down this tier 2.
There's no response. Blank, he gets rooted, but nobody's in position. Down goes the tier 2, and slowly but surely, SKT, they're catching up in gold. Only about 2,500 behind, and they have double ADC plus Fiora. Okay, trying to come from the top now is Score with the big slow. But again, no follow-up.
Slowly the curtains on the Fiora show start going up. Now she's going to be in the top side, clearing out the wave, getting even more minions. So very obviously they're funneling farm onto Untara. Instead of having him go bottom side and wait around, they're sending him top. Get as much gold funneled into this champion. They know that even right now, KT has not put an answer to this Fiora. They have just let him farm and have Rumble catch minions under turret. He's now currently farming at the tier 2, and Corki stealing a red buff.
Stealing the red, Willie head bot. Yes, he's going to take that blast cone. They're looking for the cats onto Untara, but that's not going to be it. He's going 1v1 versus Smeb. This is the real action on the Rift, and Smeb's going to be taken out. Faker with the big rotation in the bot lane is going to open it wide open.
That's huge. That's a minute cooldown. Ooh. That's a minute death timer onto Smeb. They had no idea that Corki was stealing that buff. He snuck out through vision, and that means Infernal gets to go to SKT's way again. Oh, my bad.
Never mind.
Whoops, got too ahead of myself. It's a Cloud Dragon, but it's a dragon.
Yeah, happened to me too. On the replay monitor.
We're getting too hyped with these
on
dragons.
The Observer, they're all red.
Who doesn't want a dragon?
All dragons are red on the inside.
If Harry Potter wants a dragon, everybody wants dragons.
Very true. They get another one to add up to when eventually they do get the Elder Drake, which is the main point here. The Cloud is going to make it so they are even less susceptible. Deft, please stop doing this to me, man. Stop going so close to the Thresh.
Just playing with fire and no QSS in sight.
This game is, it's going very much the way of game 2, where it's on a knife's edge, but this time it's a lot more even.
It's a knife with SKT branded on it, it appears, as everything seems to be going their way. As KT, while they had a great lead, just have not been able to accelerate it to get to the base of SKT.
Oh, they're starting. They're starting the Dragon. There's no vision, but coming on in, it looks like they know, and so KT will have to back off.
That's desperation right there. They had one control ward, no access onto mid lane. They're getting desperate. They have no idea how to crack SKT. Their defensive formation has been too much for them to handle right now. Without their ability to go onto Antara, they need to just group and make plays happen, but the itemization on these ADs is so advanced at this stage in the game that they're going to need luck on their side if they want to make these fights go their way.
And now they're chilling mid. They got Rumble, and the arrow is going to hit Pawn. Can they actually get the cast? The answer is no. But again, look at bottom lane. They're trying to engage so much, they're opening up the curtain call. Meanwhile, they're losing a bot inhibitor. What is going on? Untara going to be able to take this out. SKT getting a huge lead in this game now.
And now they're dancing them around. They're going to force a Baron here, and KT have to respond without ultimates.
TP coming in from Fiora is not going to be delayed, and 5 members of SKT rotate on up. And the Kings of the Rift are taking it back after game number 1. A huge set of plays from SKT.
And I can't believe that this could really be Blank going 19-0. Sure, his stat record is impressive, but it's the entirety of the team playing amazingly around each other. They knew that Untara was the win condition ever since they fell behind, and while they did make some mistakes, they recognized that KT was unable to close out this game to get the vision that was necessary, and the advantages that they got out of their composition early were there. But to close out the game, they just have not been on point. The picks that have gone on to death that were both his fault and SKT being proactive have cost them so much that now, 35 minutes into the game, SKT with Baron is set to start cracking some turrets and maybe even more inhibitors.
They've got the gold lead. They have Corki, Ashe, and Fiora. And I think at the KT, they're going to need to stick to that pick idea. Try to find someone, get a weak member on the side, take them out, and then follow up. Bang almost gets Deadly Flourish there up in the top. Not sure if they could have really gone in, but this Corki is getting out of control too, beginning to do nearly as much poke as the AP Karma in this game.
But for a team with no disables, and actually, yeah, so it looks like the double rapid fire cannon must just be the build for Jhin right now, but for a team that has no ability to catch you out and really lock you and get you killed, there's already QSS's built on the side of SKT. How the hell do you actually get anybody now that they're so fast? Their itemizations are there, double Cloud Dragon. You just have no chance of locking them down and getting any kills.
Look at how meticulous this push is. Slow and steady is the name of the game for SKT. Taking 0 chances. 1 poke, and you get lanterned out.
Here it is, the TP.
Okay, the TP coming in from behind, and uh-oh, Blank a little bit forward. There's the curtain call. Who they go for? They go for Faker first, but Blank all alone there on the left side is going to be taken out by that crit. And finally, they get something, but look at the top lane. Untara taking out that top turret. Doesn't want to go down, though. Is not going to commit to the inhibitor. He is on the run. Oh, we're posting that Deadly Flourish, trying to just run away as much as possible. The Baron minions are going to help him out, and he will survive.
And SKT get a red buff in return out of this, and while they do lose a pick, the big thing is that they got the teleport out of Smeb. The only way that KT could legitimately get a serious engage is now off the table. SKT can rinse and repeat, and now they don't have to worry about Smeb flanking these ADs with a equalizer.
The rapid fire cannon. You poke that turret, and 1 by 1, the bricks fall down. The turret will fall afterwards.
Okay, who the hell knows what is up with the Jhin builds now? He just sold the second rapid fire cannon for a static. I thought this was the build, but he tried the double rapid before. I'm going to stick by it. I think this has to be it. You don't just double down on your items. That's not a D-ring.
It's not really
not
a
even
thing
anymore.
We're past that age. I don't know, maybe he wants some more wave clear to deal with the push coming in with the static shiv. Instead, decides against the second rapid fire cannon. Maybe that's usually the builds. You got to think these guys know what they're doing. But
And Untara certainly does know what he's doing with that Randuin's. Normally, we might have seen a dead man's play, but with a Randuin's now, that means that he's going to be able to assist in team fights even more, and he's quite difficult to catch, and it does so much work against Jhin, a champion that relies so much on those critical strikes that the damage reduction can be significant when you have a Jhin that does not have armor penetration right now.
Looking for a pick, score coming in. They do the poke into Deadly Flourish, but it does miss. Immediately rotation from Smeb into the top lane. They're not going to give this away anymore, but again, no TP from Smeb, but there is a TP to Antara. Immediately, SKT, they're starting the Elder Drake. KT, they're slowly coming in. It looks like just Score and Mata. There's the Trinket, but he is too late. And that will be the Elder Drake over to SKT. A TP coming in from Pawn, trying to get onto Antara. Doesn't even hit him. And he's just going to have to walk back home.
KT's just scrambled at this stage. They don't have, they're so frustrated to try to catch SKT. They're just being so slippery and obnoxious, poking here and there, and KT using teleports that are so unnecessary to try to get anything in return. That teleport would not have assisted in any team fight. That's a squishy Karma. TPing into the back of the fight would do absolutely nothing. And now Antara sitting at a GA with an Elder Dragon. Rumble certainly cannot defend this, even at tower. And it's just going to be on a warpath straight to that inhibitor. As long as SKT control mid and top side, Fiora can safely push down bottom lane. But she's going to get ganked, but I believe she can get out of this.
You got to be so careful. There's the root into the exhaust. They're looking for it. He's trying to turn, actually, onto Score. Wants to go 1v4. He's going to flash the wall and get out. At the same time, though, did have to blow those summoners, and SKT not really going to find any ground elsewhere on the map.
Welcome to not having serious crowd control. She still had Randuin's to pop had things gotten a little bit hairier, and now they don't have the Stranglethorns, they don't have the Kazik ultimate to engage. Baron is going to be in a minute, which means that now SKT have full control of establishing vision so far. SKT have all the vision, while KT have nearly none on the Baron side. All of it is in the right side, and Antara continues to push.
KT, as you said it, looking scrambled like scrambled eggs. They're trying to deal with Antara in the bottom lane. They're trying to stop the mid push, but they just look like they're floundering around the base, trying to find a way to stop this. The onslaught. The poking in from Faker, one by one. The inhibitor does go down. It's at about half health. And look at the bottom lane. Antara poking in. Anytime you transition down into that lane, she's going to move in and poke ahead.
That's big. Valkyrie gets you, so now they have to pull back 30 seconds onto that Baron. There's no point in pushing now. If a fight is to be lost for SKT, KT would certainly still have a chance with that Baron. Faker does regen. I don't think they will commit for this. They just want to push the wave a little bit deeper, retreat into the Baron side.
They want the inhibitor, and they will get it, but Faker is locked up. He needs to grab that lantern. There it is. Blank in a little bit of a sticky situation is going to have to use that cast into the flash. Redemption coming down. Are they going to try to turn? The Sonya's used there by Smeb. Meanwhile, Antara, they successfully disengage, and Antara goes down into bottom lane and takes out the second inhibitor.
They're collapsing on him, but the rest of SKT is going to Baron, so Antara does not care.
Is this happening again? Antara, he can be taken out. It's going to take forever. He still has GA. They're giving away the Baron for this kill. He's taken out. I mean, of course, the Fiora can't go 1v5 at this point. Maybe if Lucky can get one kill, but again, the real victory is that Baron.
It's the only thing they can get, because now at least Antara's split pushing power does not have Baron to force KT to respond and have to consider a Fiora solo ending the game. So it's the most they can get out of the situation, and SKT was just barely capable of taking down that turret. The rapid fire on Corki allowing them to get a little bit closer, but just so close to Corki actually going down. Had he gone down in that situation, that would have certainly indicated KT to go straight for that Baron and get a chance back into this game, but just understanding their limits quite well. Now they're going to be able to... Oh, boy.
That's SKT's red buff.
It has been for quite some time.
Faker's, to be exact, on the Corki. Corki seems to be back. You can see exactly what the Corki can do super late into the game with all of his items. Incredible burst damage and follow-up.
Now the itemization is complete on this side of KT. Kha'Zix doesn't matter much, but Karma is practically there. He's got a control ward in the inventory. Jhin is there, and so is Smeb. But nobody on the side of SKT is going to give them the time of day to actually get that damage in.
Faker with the package to hit the inhibitor once. Using that rapid fire cannon, the charge. Full shields here on the side of KT, trying desperately to stop the push with the Baron buff. Faker always just trying to get close. Oh, trying to Valkyrie out of there. And there is that Lantern score coming from behind, a really big equalizer. But again, the name of the game, as it has been for all of Game 3, is disengage for SKT.
SKT at least survive out of that, but they get Bang Splash on the side of KT. Arrow on the pawn.
Arrow does hit him, but again, no one's quite close enough. The big one, knocking him down. Faker getting to a point where he's confident enough to just poke in the face of 5 members of KT. And it doesn't really seem like they can do much about it. We got super minions pushing onto the Nexus turrets. Now Untara always threatening. And look at that inhibitor in the top. It is going to go down. That's 3 down now. They're looking for Smeb. Can they burst him down? The Zonia's is going to be used. Will there be a follow-up? They're trying so hard. The Nexus turrets are falling. Zyra goes down. Kha'Zix goes down. Hook. There's the hook onto him. And SKT, they're finally looking to end this one. That's going to be 4 members, 5 members, the ace, and 2-1 will be the score for the first Telecom war. SKT with the victory.
This team just seems untouchable. They get wiped in Game 1. They sub in Blank and Untara. And now they 2-0 KT.